The problem is like every family has that one uncle who's done this thing and told the whole family like, this is the best thing. Tell your kids, come here. Because his experiences are like what 30 years pehle ka what
Oh.
US was. And for him, it's US is still like that only.
You know what they say, desperate times call for.
Packing up your life in Mumbai, studying in LA, and restarting your life in San Jose.
If you've been there or you're there, this one's for you.
This is Desperate Times.
Welcome back to another episode of Desperate Times. I'm Sakshi.
And I'm Varun.
And today we've got Mannan on Desperate Times. He went from growing up in Mumbai to studying at UCLA and now starting fresh in San Jose. Going to get into what that kind of move really feels like across continents, careers, and culture. So let's welcome Mannan.
Hey Mannan, welcome to Desperate Times podcast. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you for inviting me, guys.
Without getting into everything already, let's just get you started and warmed up a little. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
So, I'm Sakshi's cousin. So, that's a good starter.
Yeah.
But I'm an engineer. I did my undergrad at BITS, Goa. Post that, I worked at Texas Instruments in Bangalore for 2 years. I'm originally from Mumbai. Stayed there until I was 18. And then after my stint at TI, I did my master's at UCLA, so Los Angeles. And now I'm working at San Jose, California, in a sort of startup-ish company on hardware design and IP design. So
Why
that's
does
a
that
little bit about me.
Why does that sound like something you say in like
In
all
every
interviews?
interview.
Tell me about yourself. And Varun literally led you into that. I was like, Manan, come on, tell us about yourself.
Yeah,
And you're like,
no.
okay, this is what I have. This is what I'm gonna give.
The minute I
Yeah.
even posed the question, I was like, oh no, this sounds like an interview.
I was like,
But
I tried to do everything. I was like, fuck Mumbai. Like, beach mein, I was like, I had to say Mumbai because I was like, Mumbai is close to me, but I was like, I forgot. So I was like, okay, I'll slip in Mumbai, beach mein kabhi.
but well, no, when you first landed in LA for
Yeah,
UCLA, what was the
yeah.
biggest shock compared to Mumbai?
Biggest shock, even though like LA is supposed to be like a city kind of a thing, the population density is not that high. So
Okay.
it's like when you're in Mumbai, you're used to like people around you like all the time, no matter where you go,
Yeah.
no matter what time, wherever you go, there are people around and there's hustling and everything. And
Yeah.
suddenly when you're in LA, like supposed to be one of the bigger cities at least, and suddenly there's like, so many open spaces. There's no rush anywhere. Everything is like slow paced comparatively, and I'm just like seems like a little not city kind of a vibe for me. So that was sort of like something I was not expecting.
So you
Wow.
went
Yeah.
in expecting that it's going to be a little bit similar to the lifestyle that you've lived back at home.
Yeah, true. Like more hustling, more fast paced. Everything is going up and down, kind of a city kind of a thing. But I couldn't find that much. Not that it was bad, it was just something I was not expecting. So a little
So it threw
different.
you off. Yeah.
It threw me off. It threw me off completely. Yeah.
Damn. Must have been hard adjusting to that.
It was very difficult, even for the simplest things like like waiting at the signal so that everyone has to walk
Oh
at the
wow.
crosswalk, and no jaywalking and shit like that happening. I
Yeah.
was just like,
I-
what is happening? And like
I kind
cars
of had
waiting for
the
you, and you get to
Yeah.
go easily without any hustle.
Right.
Just like, wow,
I
what is
think
this?
when I went back to India for my first visit after moving to Montreal, I feel like I had the reverse culture shock where I found myself standing at the red light being like, can I cross now? And I'm like, wait, I don't do this. I'm not in Canada right now.
Yeah,
So I had that reverse
exactly.
shock when I got back.
But better safe
Exactly.
than sorry, because even though it's a red light in India, you still have to be very careful.
True. India, it's just like, yeah, the lights don't matter. It's just like,
No.
find your
Yeah,
way.
best judgment.
Best judgment.
And then how different was the shift again? Like you lived in LA only for university
Yeah.
and then you moved
Yeah.
to San Jose, which is a
So
bigger
it was.
city comparatively?
It's
Or
no, not really. So San Francisco is the bigger city.
Right.
This is like people couldn't afford San Francisco, so people just started shifting outward. Companies were like, San Francisco prices are too high. Let's go close, and then there's a new city which is formed called San Jose, just at the outskirts of San Francisco.
So this
So
is the
Got
Navi
you.
Mumbai version, basically.
exactly what I was gonna say. So this was exactly like that. So the cultural shock for me here was again even bigger, that यहाँ पे और भी कम है, like
Oh shit.
because here no one walks because everyone fucking has a car.
Mm.
If you go out walking, you will probably be the single person walking, even if it's like morning time, it's not a night thing. No one walks here.
So no
And
runners
everything,
either?
no runners, nothing. You'll have parks in which people will do the running, but not like
Right.
generally walking or anything. And everything
That's
is like
cool.
far, far apart, far apart.
So it's a lot like a
But
suburb, if I have to put it
it's
that
it's
way.
a full suburb kind of a thing here. The roads are great, so even though places are far, you can like travel in like 10 minutes. The thing I
I
would
mean,
take in Mumbai like for an hour here is literally like 8 minutes, the
yeah.
same distance.
I mean,
So in
American
that way,
Canadian
it's good.
cities are built for driving, right? Like the roads,
True.
they
Yeah.
want people to buy more cars and
Yeah. Yeah.
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Public transport is shit anyway, so it's not that you can depend on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was more villageish, suburbish kind of a vibe here where yeah, I mean that is, the nightlife here is barely existent. Like
Oh
there are
gosh.
there are some downtown spots where you can go and chill and everything, but
Uh-huh.
I mean most people here, if you're here, you find a group of people, you throw like big house parties and everything, and because the societies here are great, like so people, yeah, just have like crazy house parties most of the time. The good thing here is the Indian culture is great.
Oh really?
So yeah, I just like last week had like Falguni Pathak and all of them come for Garba and
Wow.
everything.
Damn.
So the Indian culture is huge here. So I think last year where Diwali and Halloween were together, I think there
Yeah,
was
Yeah,
it was.
Diwali. The
it
Yeah.
was.
Diwali was more
Same day.
celebrated. Like if you would go around,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
there were houses more with diyas and everything rather than some Halloween decoration
Oh,
and all that stuff.
damn.
Wow.
Yeah, because techie,
So
so a lot of people, a lot of Asian influences here.
so if you had to compare it with like the East Coast version, it would almost be like New York, New Jersey types with San
Maybe,
Francisco, San
yeah,
Jose.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Because
I
New
I
get
think
Jersey
I
you.
think
has no
that's a
Indians.
that's a fair equivalent.
Okay, well, that's surprising to me because I never thought that San Jose has such a big Indian diaspora there and
It
Diwali is
has
more
a
celebrated.
huge, huge diaspora. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Sweet, sweet.
So
Okay, I'm a
that's
little
good.
curious.
It's yeah.
Ah,
Continue. Sorry.
sorry. No, I'm just a little curious about your university experience. Like, so when you moved, and Sakshi and I have discussed this on previous episodes of ours about like the whole struggle of like moving to a new country and like starting over in terms of like making friends and all of that struggle.
Yeah,
What was that for you? Like, how did you go about like building a community?
it was tough because it. Your at least my expectation when I came for my master's was okay. I had this undergrad, and I was just like,
Hmm.
okay, it's gonna be like exactly like that. Like you'll meet like hundreds of people, and it'll be fun, and it'll be all of that. And suddenly, when you
Mm-hmm.
come here, you're like, okay, everyone has different expectations from masters. Firstly, the age group is all over the place. There are
Hmm.
people
Yeah.
who are like probably close to marriage, and there's marriage, and also really don't care about it. They're just there for the masters.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's kind of more difficult to make friends because everyone is doing their own shit in some sense. People are not there
Mm.
just to hang out and chill, and
True.
everyone is very purpose driven of what they want from this master. It's even a shorter duration, so as soon as you
Yeah.
get in, you have to start looking for internships and jobs. So it's
Hmm.
pretty hectic in that sense. So finding people was tougher. Luckily, there were enough Indians, so that's a easy go-to. If you go to a party and everything, and you find like bunch of Indians and you sort of click with them, that helped a bit. But yeah, finding people tough. But I think more tough was just you come to a new country, and when you're coming from India, you are used to like things getting done for you in some sense. And when you come here, I think the biggest or the toughest thing for me was just like doing all the house shows while doing everything else.
Yeah.
Because everything else is okay, you have that in your mind, okay, you have to study, you have to look for a
Yeah.
job, and you have to party, find friends and everything. All of that was okay. I knew beforehand that I have to do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing the house chores thing, I didn't think it'll be like this stuff, and then suddenly it hits you like you have to do this every day. Every
Yeah.
day you have to cook. Oh my God. So
But
that
you
was
lived away as well, like even in India. It wasn't
yeah, I
just
did
because
live away, but
Varun and
like
I had undergrads in Mumbai, so we lived with
I
family at
mean
home. But your undergrad was also away, so even then it felt like a
I mean,
shock.
in Indian undergrads, you never cook or anything, right? There's a mess which will give you all the food, or
Oh,
else you
right.
order from
Mm.
someplace. Even in
Right,
Bangalore,
right.
like you would have a helper who'd come and who'd cook
Oh,
everything, do the cleaning for your house and everything. 'Cause
nice.
in India, all of this facility is sort of there. So
Yeah.
here you cannot do it. You have to do like You don't do the house chores for 2 weeks. You know that your clothes are there. Like you need them. You have to do that. House gather. You have to clean it. You are hungry. You have to cook. There's no other option.
Yeah, I still have my clothes in the dryer, and I often forget them until I have to do another load because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one thing I cannot.
No,
Yeah, every
completely
day I think so.
relatable.
I
Like,
go to the dryer and I'm like, okay, aaj kya? Cool. I'll just take it from there
That's a
only.
good idea. Yeah, but then the
Yeah,
clothes get wrinkled, so
yeah.
I tend
that's
to do
But
another
that for
issue.
yeah,
like up to 2 or 3 days, and then I just finally I'm like, okay, you know what?
Exactly.
Let's give it 20 minutes, but let's finally get to this.
Yep, I give up.
so yeah. In masters, I think that was an unexpected thing, so it was more tough for me
Mm,
just to adjust to all of those changes.
mm,
Hmm.
Friends and all, I got a good bunch of people luckily soonish. So then, even though it was small, we would
mm.
find our ways to just chill, hang around, do stuff around.
That's good
Sweet.
because it's very
Yeah.
difficult to find people. But luckily, like, I don't think you guys have seasonal depression as much because the winters are much milder on the west coast
Yeah,
than on the
yeah,
Yeah,
east
yeah.
yeah.
coast.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I remember I was complaining this to a friend of mine in New York when I was first came in,
No, wrong person to
and
complain to.
and yeah, yeah, I didn't know that. So
Oh,
because I was
God.
just like, and during that whole, I think they had the winter quarter where you only
Hmm.
get like sunsets at like 3:30, 4 p.m. or something.
Yeah,
Yep.
So it's like so shitty. I was
if
just
you
like,
get
dude,
the
like
sun.
you, yeah, I was like, I get up and like I have lunch and the sunset. It's so shitty and everything. And then he starts and I'm just like, my God, I was just like, I'm so sorry, bro. Like, oh, it's bad there. New York and everything. It's bad. Oh my God, it's bad
Yep.
there.
We're
Oh,
just
it might
north
be
of
bad for you guys
New
also,
York.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the basically New
Oh
York and
yeah.
Montreal weather is the exact same. Like whatever
Yeah,
New
yeah,
York
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
is exactly what
yeah.
Montreal
Yeah, yeah,
gets.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Toronto
yeah.
is just a couple of hours away from both of those cities.
True,
So
true, true.
east
Oh
east
shit.
coast time, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you guys must be like facing the wrath of
Yeah.
it
That's exactly
very
why when you
intensely.
said that you were complaining to someone in New York, I was like,
That's
nope,
why we left. Yeah.
nope,
We are like
Yeah.
don't do that.
wrong person.
Yeah, no,
But
it
New
was
York is
good.
still
It
better
was good.
than
It was good
Canadian.
for me. Good for me.
But that's why I said like y'all don't have that. So it's like easier
Yeah.
even I suppose, but it's never easy really moving to a new country. Like you said, your expectations and everything that hits hard because if you're not prepared for it, it takes you months just to get in a right
Yeah.
mental
Yeah.
space to
Yeah.
do those things, right? Otherwise you're just
Mm-hmm.
cribbing and complaining and feeling sad about yourself every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so that's also a big challenge is that this whole picture of going abroad, going to US is wrapped
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
around in India in like such a good thing that oh my God, like you do this and it's
The American dream, yeah.
the
Yeah.
American dream. It's pitched perfectly for anyone to come here. And
Yeah.
so I think the expectation versus the reality is something which is not is very far apart at this point of time for people. Especially when
um
even though I had so many people who had done this, people just don't talk about it that much to people who
Yeah.
are coming in. And that's what I think so is a bit more that what's make it's a bit more challenging for people who are coming in.
And that's exactly the idea with Desperate Times podcast, to be honest, for us to get that information out there from people who are living those experiences, right? Because everyone promotes, oh my God, it's all holly jolly and it looks
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
And all of us do that on social media. I mean, we all are guilty for doing that. But
yeah,
talking about the real issues and what the pros and cons are is the other side of the coin, where
true.
shedding light on that is equally important. So you bring up a good point about the American dream and life in US and how people, even Canada for that matter, it's
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I
we've
mean
spoken
US
about this
isn't like
before.
this exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's always the same thing. We're like, oh my God, life there, this, and there are some good things, but you have to really decide what matters to you and then
Yeah,
Yep.
take a decision basis that is it worth moving for, right?
exactly.
So hoping that when people do view or listen to this, they can make their own
Yeah.
choices based on
Mm-hmm.
what you're telling them, Manan.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And the problem is like every family has that one uncle who's done this thing and told the whole family like, this is the best thing. Give you
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
your
yeah.
kids,
Do it.
come here, come here.
Yeah.
Because his experiences are like what 30 years pehle ka
Oh
what US
gosh.
was.
Right.
And
Yeah.
for him it's US is still like that only.
Yeah. No
So
fair.
But I
yeah, it's
think
good to have
that
voices out.
that brings me to a question that I feel like might be relevant, and in no way am I trying to get political here by any way or form because
No.
No,
I
no.
want to
Go
stay
ahead, go
away
ahead.
from that as long as I can. But since you were mentioning that, say 20, 30 years ago, there would be an uncle who would be like, yeah, listen, move to America is the best thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if you were to speak to someone younger today, would you have any of that still, or would you be more on the side of like the American dream is dead? Which side do you think you would go with?
So I would not say the American dream is dead because the economy is still pretty strong. So it just, I think so. In my sense of 20, 30 years, I don't see the gap between the Indian economy and US economy to be this huge that you have to, if you really want to make the big money, that you have to come here in certain fields. I think so. India would have enough opportunities 30 years down the line for people to not take all
Yeah.
of this and come far away. And so I think the money part of it will be resolved. The second part of it is just the lifestyle. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't want that, complete hustling city kind of, and you want a little slow paced and relaxed kind of a
Mm-hmm.
thing, then sure, you can come here and you will probably get that. But the reason for coming, I think 20 years down the line should change, or hopefully will change. So that'll be my advice
Interesting.
for.
Interesting. That's quite an interesting take because I don't think I hear a lot of people really have that
E-
stance on these
Yeah, I
things.
think, at least in my opinion, even though the economy is going strong, I think it'll have a stagnation 20, 30 years down the line. It's not growing that nicely. It's just the AI boom that's overinflating the economy here. But other than that, no other sector is really doing great at this point of time.
And you work in tech, so AI must be
Yeah.
very closely related to your day to day, or I mean, you know what's happening in there more
Yeah,
than we do.
I would say like this. There are like probably, let's say, 100 companies working on AI, out
Yeah.
of which only 10 are probably going to make money at the end of the day. They'll probably make shit ton of money, but eventually, if you, let's say, had invested $1 in each company, you will come out net
Mm-hmm.
negative, then you will come out net positive. So
Okay.
that's why I feel that eventually this AI thing is a bubble-ish kind of a thing. Don't know
Yeah.
when it'll burst, but I think, at least my opinion, I might be completely
I've
wrong.
heard and read that from other people as well, and I've read in some articles also that this is just like a AI bubble at the point that's just inflating everything, and then
Yeah,
eventually it does have to like deflate and
yeah,
stagnate.
yeah.
So
Yeah, the
I
use
get
cases
what
are
you're saying.
strong, but it's just like the valuations, the everything
Yeah,
going around it is just like too big at this point of time.
yeah, I get that.
But let's see, who am I to say I'm here in the US working on this AI thing?
Oh well, I mean, this is just for our opinions and sharing our things, so it's completely fine. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if it does happen, you can say I called it.
Exactly. And if it doesn't happen, I'm making money from it. So it's a
Yeah,
win-win for me.
win-win.
Yeah.
There's no lose here. Cool. Coming back to sort of the Mumbai aspect of things where you were talking about how people in India you had help. So what's the one thing that you miss the most about life in Mumbai or just life in India in general?
Yeah, I think that would be one big thing. That
Okay.
just having some sort of a house help really, you know, eases your life here. If you had
Mm-hmm.
that to do like anything and everything, it takes up a lot of your time just
Yeah.
doing all of that. It's nice to do it once. Like I would gladly do it, let's say during my masters, so that I know in myself that I can do that. I can do all
Yeah.
of this. If ever there is a time, I don't want to do it on a daily basis every time. That is one thing. Second thing, I think so. Just like even though here I have a good friend circle, like in India, it's like the person who living next to you is also your friend. The
Yeah.
person one floor down is also your friend. You walk around and you'll probably make 10 friends in Mumbai.
Yeah.
That is a little missing here. So sometimes I feel like, yeah, like even though I have friends, like it feels a little less. Family, sometimes you miss your family, that closeness with people. So just I think so the people aspect of it, even though it had, like I said, Bay Area has a great Indian diaspora, just sometimes you just miss that feel of just having this random neighbor also you can talk to.
Yeah, no, in Mumbai everyone knows everyone and especially where
Exactly.
Manan and I grew up, everyone knows
Yeah.
everyone for generations. There's
Yeah.
no getting
Yeah.
away with it.
Yeah. That is
Okay.
something which I miss.
I kind of want to address another topic that Sakshi and I have spoken about in one of our
Yeah.
previous episodes, which is about like being in North America right now and like not just North America, it's more almost a global thing at this point in time, but just like being outside of India and facing all the hate that comes our way, whether or not we have really done anything to cause it. So, is there any of that that you've unfortunately at all been on the receiving end of it?
So not in Bay Area, because I don't think so there are Americans here to give us hate. But definitely whenever I've gone especially when we go for trips in smaller towns and places. There are people who are more vocal about us going back to our country and taking jobs and all of those shit. But I haven't faced too much of it. That it was just like people shouting at me and abusing our group and all those stuff. And
That's
we
still
would
quite
just
a bit,
walk.
I would say.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's yeah, that is. It's just that I've heard people like tell even worse stories. So now it feels that okay, you know what, like maybe we didn't face the worst of
Oh
it, but
wow.
there is a general feeling of that the immigrants are taking up jobs here. So and especially with the whole Trump campaign based solely based on that, it has just made people more vocal about it. They feel like yeah, that is they somehow feel like this even a tech job is something which we're taking from an American. So that is still very prevalent. I would say here also. There are places where you won't see that in cities and everything. Maybe not. If you go any downtown area, you'll find some homeless guy who'd probably do all of this shit. And then whenever you go to small town, you'll probably face something of the sorts. There'll be some old white guy who would scream at you.
That's very sad and
Yeah, it's
traumatizing to even hear about because Canada say these things like immigrants are taking jobs and even the tech jobs for that matter because here also
Mm-hmm.
it's the same story and you know that we should go back and even I've had comments on my videos and stuff where they've just commented deport and I'm like what for? Outright verbally someone yelling and shouting at you, I think that's a different experience that I don't wish on anybody and
Mm-hmm.
mm,
it's just sad to hear that you had to go through it with your friends. Cannot imagine what this must have felt like because there are people obviously that make us look that way and have people say those things. But when you're not
Mm-hmm.
one of those people and for you to just be generalized in that category, it's
yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah, it is. Yeah, that's one thing which I think so is there that no matter what you do, you never feel at home
Yeah,
because
Mm.
there is someone who will remind you every now and then that this is not your home and you are an alien
right.
living in this country.
I
So
was told very recently that that's the term that the US uses for all immigrants. They are actually
yeah,
called
yeah,
aliens. I had no idea about it. And I'm like, wait, you
yeah,
can't be real. Like, they actually call you an alien? That makes no sense.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's
it's
what
bizarre.
our sort of category is at this point of time.
We had a similar campaign here in Canada too, though. And in fact,
They
just
failed.
yesterday, that,
What
but
was
I
the
feel like
campaign about?
so we had federal elections too, right, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And the right leaning party, same campaign, anti immigration, blah, blah, blah. And yesterday in Toronto, there was a rally, an anti immigration rally, which is a first for the country. Canada is supposed to be very diverse, very
Mm-hmm.
inclusive. And I mean, Australia's had rally, UK's had
Yeah,
rally
yeah, yeah.
going around, but
Currently, it seems
Canada,
like a flavor of the
a
month
thing,
for
yes.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Canada's never had that. So yesterday there was a rally, and it was called a Canada First protest. They
Mm-hmm.
weren't calling it anti-immigration, but they were calling it Canada First. And there were counter protesters for that who were more than the people who were Canada First. And they were calling these Canada First rally people fascists, Nazi, and then the rally was dismissed. That protest that they were supposed to had was dismissed. They
But
were fewer than the counter
yeah,
protesters.
it effectively so happened that all of these people who came to protest against immigration were surrounded by all the people who were
Pro,
Yeah.
yeah.
pro-immigration.
And I mean, our at least in the videos that I saw, I didn't see a lot of people of color at all. So it was
That's
funny that
interesting.
exactly it was funny that the Canada First
Protest.
protesters
Yeah.
and the anti-rally protesters were like the same. And I was just watching, and I'm like, what is this? So
I think
yeah, a
it's
lot of things are
it's
happening.
it's something I think just people are not that aware of that immigrants are producing like so much money, are producing so many jobs. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, the economy is run on the back of most immigrants. I don't know about Canada, but at least US, I know the
Oh yeah.
Silicon Valley, which is built here, which is I don't know, California itself has like $3.5 trillion of GDP. Most of it is built on workers who are immigrants and
Yeah.
eventually
Yeah.
making more jobs for other people. I'm not saying that I'm all for like immigrant jobs and everything. There are certain
Mm-hmm.
like illegal immigrants and everything which
Of
maybe
A
course.
should
hundred
not
percent.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that
Yeah.
we are saying that that is a
doesn't
good
Yeah.
thing,
exist.
or yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. They take up blue collar jobs, and that's what should be rectified. But that doesn't mean
exactly.
that you target like just all immigrants,
Everyone. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if let's say that happens, the economy will collapse,
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
and
And
then
we're
and
already
then you
seeing
will
that.
cry, and you will just be like, get them back. Understand
Yeah,
this thing.
because it seems awfully convenient, right? Back in COVID, at
Yeah,
least for Canada, and I can't speak for the States, but from what I know, the majority of the economy was functioning only because of all the students that moved here because they were the ones who were taking up the jobs and nobody else wanted to get out of home.
yeah,
So it is the immigrants at that point in time that kind of moved the economy and kept having it
true.
go. So now it's awfully convenient that when the world's kind of back to being normal, they're like, yeah, you know what? Send all of those people back who ran our place where we didn't want to.
Yeah, actually, like not just the jobs wise, actually like the whole student economy, so much money which is being generated just from all the immigrants coming here, paying all
Yeah.
these insane
So
tuition fees and everything, and there's a whole economy built around just the schooling, the
I,
housing,
for
this,
one,
that,
have
this,
paid
that.
almost $50,000 for my tuition. So that's just gone to the
Yeah,
government for.
Yeah, in Canada, international students pay 3 times as much as a domestic student does. And I know for a fact people working the postgrad college that I studied at has cut its departments in half, has cut the staff in half because the international student number has dropped so drastically that they don't
Hmm.
have people, they don't have money coming in to survive those jobs, keep those people in those jobs, and it's just unfortunate. And like you said, it's not just about jobs. Think about it, people coming in spending that much money on things like going
exactly.
out, shopping,
Going out,
restaurants, all of that. They're
housing,
pumping money
rent,
into
food,
the
everything, all
economy.
basic stuff.
Correct, but
Yeah,
I feel like with our campaign was also similar, where they're like, oh, housing crisis, send people back, and now Toronto's housing market is crashed to another level. It's gone pre-pandemic, so that's another issue. And I cannot believe how similar US and Canada have been in that matter. Just because I know Canada is always called like a younger brother of US, and US is supposed to be the big brother of Canada. But with the tariffs
first
and
state,
everything,
51st state, what Trump was
51st.
trying.
let's not go there. With the tariffs, it's been a whole different story. So, but it's wild to me that these issues and how
That's
everyone's
true.
just dealing with them.
Came around because of the whole. So even though Trump is not doing anything, like Trump in fact is in favor of like wage-based H1B, which helps people who are, let's say, doing not like white collar jobs, getting
Mhm.
H1B compared to blue collar jobs. So he's trying, but
Hmm.
his campaign was so around this illegal immigrant kind of
Yeah,
a thing that just it has painted the picture for any person who, let's say, just watches some news and just gets a rough idea of stuff, half information kind of thing. And that has riled up, I think, so people even more.
wow, I cannot believe how similar that is to Canada. Really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
It's
think that
wow.
has a chain effect everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. And I know we've spoken about a lot of different things now, but earlier we touched on the one thing that you miss about Mumbai. But what's the
yeah.
one thing that you've grown to love about either California or just San Jose?
Driving, like driving, my God, it's so. I went back this time in India, I couldn't drive. I was
No,
just like,
I'm
it's
dreading it.
so tough. It's so tough. I'm just like,
Yeah,
how are people not like crashing into each other in Mumbai? What is this chaos in which somehow there is some system?
yeah,
It's tough, man. But like driving here is like so good. A, driving and actually having places to drive to. I think California
hmm,
in general,
Hmm.
yeah,
I feel is so geographically gifted.
it
Yeah.
is.
Because in a 2 or 3 hour drive, I can have any sort of thing I want. There are like great lakes, I can go to
Yeah,
great mountain peaks, snow-capped mountains, deserts, coastline. I know, like anything I want, I can get in
it's
a
like
3 hour
BC,
drive.
right? It's like British Columbia for Canada, to be honest, because
It's
it's right
Yeah,
almost,
there.
yeah.
California, British Columbia, it's right there.
and the weather is good, so
Yeah.
technically I can go around anywhere all year round, most of it. So just having the ability to easily drive and without
Mm,
any sort of luggage, and actually having places to drive to in like a very close vicinity kind of a
mm,
thing.
but
So those two
no.
things I really, really like about California, at least. I haven't traveled that much in US, but at least for California, I can say that.
Yeah, no, I've seen some of the travel stories of California, but California is huge on its own, so
Yeah,
you
California
know,
is
right?
huge,
Yeah,
huge.
yeah. And I'm dreading driving in India because here also my major problem here is the highways because the highways are huge, right? Compared to
Yeah, yeah,
India,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
highways are like 8 lane, 12 lane, 16 lane. I don't even know. And what Texas has that biggest highway? What's that? I forget how many lanes is that. But
No idea.
merging
Sorry.
and then just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
leaving the highway, it's scary to me. But in India, I used to drive on highways and in the city, and I just like, how did I do that? I don't think I can do
Yeah,
that again.
yeah, that's true. Like, and dude, the traffic in India, like, my
Yeah.
God, to reach to one place, even if it's at like 2 a.m., there's still traffic. What the fuck's going on there, dude? What's going on? What are people doing at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, especially for us because we live near the airport area. So at night, at 2 a.m., there
And dude,
will
like,
be a checkpoint
there is construction going on every
everywhere.
road. Every road has construction going on. They want to build metro, whatever they want to build. No fucking road to drive on, man. What is happening? It's
This is what we've
frustrating
spoken about in our Mumbai versus Toronto episode also,
Yeah.
that construction is ongoing forever. It's never
forever.
ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rage is real.
It's yeah. Like even though it's been like more than 6, 7 months, I just thought about it and I could remember the pain I felt at that point of time.
But hey, I hear one of those lines are working now, so that construction is gone.
You think so? You think so?
I
It should be.
heard the metro, the one that goes to Dadar, I think is
Yeah.
functioning now.
I will say
I
the
don't
It's
real
like.
the Reliance project of having that those Mumbai gardens seem pretty promising.
Yes. The
I don't
coastal
know
road
the
the
garden.
coastal road
coastal road.
gardens,
Yeah, the coastal road
the coastal road
is
gardens. So now they're planning to along the coastal road itself, or more on the seafront through the entire coastal road. They're planning to build like a walkable garden of sort.
oh
So that sounds pretty promising, and at least for Mumbai, because my biggest concern when I heard that they were doing the coastal road, I was like, yeah, great. I guess we fucking lose the sea face now. There's nothing that's going to be left of it.
Sea face, the mangroves. That's what saves Mumbai from the floods every time.
That is
yeah.
also true.
Yeah.
But
Reliance.
more on
Okay.
Reliance, I don't trust any of the projects because the Ghatkopar and Versova metro was built by Reliance and they took 10 years.
That is also true.
What do
So
we
we
know?
can say that they've learned from the experience, maybe.
Have they?
Hopefully.
I'm
You see.
optimistic.
You see. Manan, I feel like we've spoken about Mumbai, we've heard your rage about Mumbai, and then the Bay Area. So, how has moving countries, continents even, shaped the way you see your career and yourself as a person?
So talking about career, I think so one big career change or difference in work culture for US versus India was in India it is a lot about, at least for me, I worked in a MNC, which was very
Mm,
hierarchical in some sense. So it was a lot about, okay, my manager is working this to this, you have to work same as at
mm,
least the same as kind of a thing, and not that output driven as to, okay, what am I eventually giving out after those 8 hours?
mm.
What's my output from that? That
Doesn't
was
matter.
not that was it had some say, but I think there was a lot of it on how much time I'm spending in the company, what I'm doing otherwise, and all those stuff.
Hmm.
So I didn't like it that much. That was one of the reasons for me to just shift to US, because I was just like, that doesn't seem like a good way to go about things. And that has changed a lot here. Here, no one cares. I can come in for 2 hours, I can come in for 1 hour. Sometimes I have to stay for 10 hours also. I'm not saying that, work-life balance is such that uh, it's high and happy every time and you work lesser here. No, there are times where you have to work more because there is a project deliverable or something coming up and you have to work your pants off.
Hmm.
But at least everything is based on, okay, what's the work? Everything is based on what's my output, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
direct correlation of that. And I'm not just sitting there trying to just please someone that I've stayed for 8 hours in my office. So it has
Hmm.
nothing to do with that. So in that sense, I think so I have started looking at things very differently. And even career wise, I've suddenly realized that, okay, what are the things I have to do
Hmm.
to what I was saying, I have to learn. In there, it was more of, okay, how much time I have to spend, what I have to do
Hmm.
this, rather than actually looking at the right things in for my career. So that I think has really shaped my perspective of things and how I want to go about things. And I think there is a part of US economy being very good that people here talk more like not in a disparaging way, but in India it's just okay, get your job and stay there, and it's
Mm.
almost like do the minimum survival kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is sort of like the culture, and
Mhm.
nothing wrong about it because like it's just still we're still just growing, and
Yeah.
a lot of our previous generations have suffered a lot. So the culture is very different here. It's an excess
Mm.
economy, so people are more willing to take risks in general with respect to their careers also. So that mindset, having people around who have that mindset, just help me, imbibe that in myself also. I think
Mhm.
so. Even career wise, I have started being more risk friendly rather than risk averse, which I was initially. That has helped me a lot. Career wise, maybe personal life wise, also the second part.
Mm-hmm.
And second thing with respect to personal life was like I was talking about. Even though I stayed outside my home for quite a few years, I think the real test of surviving just came here when I came here. Because there were times where you don't have enough people around you, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly you feel that you are just you.
Yeah.
And can you survive that? I didn't know that, and now I know I can. Just
Mm-hmm.
doing the everything around by yourself without having anyone. And I don't mean like emotionally or just like just being there with yourself and doing everything around you. That I think was I got it once I moved
Mm-hmm.
here. Maybe it had something to do with it's just like like I hit the age of adulting as such when I moved here. So maybe it
Yeah.
had parts and parcel of that, but I'll credit it maybe to US. So I should at least hope kuch अच्छा आया है उससे.
No, fair enough, and
Mm-hmm.
understandable. Even in India, when you're away from home, it's still India in the end, and it's
That's what I was
Yeah,
one
gonna
flight
say.
away.
That's
It's very
exactly what I
close.
was gonna get to. That if I
I
had to
have,
guess,
yeah,
if I had to guess, it would also have a role to play that even though you're away from home in a different city in the same country, home still feels accessible. And from a
true.
psychology point of view, that alone will like make you a little
Yeah,
more
I
comfortable. And moving
100%, 100%.
20 hours away is then gonna put you in a complete different headspace, being like, okay, now there's no access that I want or would look
Yeah,
for
yeah.
anymore.
There's always a safety net in India that, worst come to worst, there's a 2 hour flight which will take me home. Worst come to
exactly,
worst. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
That
And I
safety
mean,
net sometimes goes when you're here.
yeah, no, definitely. And in my case, it was like that. I was in Agra for 8 months. That was my first job, and worst case, I was like, I can't do this, mom. I'm coming back home. Flight back home. That's it. Like after my notice was served, that is. But
Mm-hmm.
it's that easy. Versus here, you've set a whole new life, right? Like there's so many logistical things also to think about. Not just where you are at in terms of like your headspace or just like your emotions, but
Yeah.
logistically, you have to keep all of your emotions and your thoughts aside and think about all of that stuff.
Yeah,
So it's not as
yeah,
easy.
yeah. I think the true sense of adulting has happened once I moved here. Yeah.
So Manan, while we're talking about all of this, like moving away from home and how adulting in the real sense, if you had to give advice to someone leaving their home country for the first
Yeah.
time, what would
Mm.
it be?
Just be ready for change, and whenever it comes, just take it head on. It'll be tough, and you would feel that, what's going on in my life, and you will have moments where you just be like, what, like India was so much better. Why did
Yeah,
I even do this? You will have all those questions, and it's okay to have those questions, but just like continue on. Don't let it go, because once you come out of it, you will see yourself, and you will see yourself to be like a much stronger person.
Mm-hmm.
So just take everything head on. Don't try to avoid situations. Don't try to avoid doing stuff. Just take everything head on, because once you're out of it, trust me, you will just be like so much happy that you went through all that shit.
fair enough. I
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. I think that's great advice to give. And on that note, I'm going to throw one last question at you. Tell us about this one time of, in your experience of being in the States, where you found yourself in a situation telling yourself that these are desperate times, and what did you do to get out of it?
Oh, I have a I have a fun story for
Okay.
this. talking about, just like what I said, that there will be times when you feel like, fuck, I should have never left the
Yeah.
country.
Mm-hmm.
That happened to me very strongly on my, I think so, second day, I think so.
Oh.
I moved
Second
to
day.
yeah, I moved to LA. We have this place where we are going to stay. On the second day, we find like there are like cockroaches and everything all over the place,
Ay, ay,
Oh my
ay.
and we're
God.
just like, my God, what do we do now? And we're just like, we can't do this. We can't stay here. Luckily, we
Yeah.
hadn't signed the lease yet. We had just paid some deposit and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
We go out, we try to find a new place close by, just like get anything at a similar price because we can't pay more, but like
Yeah.
just get anything at that point of time. We luckily find a new place, but the manager there was just,
You can
she
say.
was just like, she was just like, I'm going to go in 1 hour. If you can get me, they don't, US, they don't have like some fast food mode of payment. And just
Yeah.
like
No.
go to the bank and get me this, some check or something. I don't even remember what
Demand
exactly it
draft.
was. Demand draft. Yeah, yeah. She was like, get me that in like an hour. Otherwise, you take the place tomorrow. We go run to the bank, get the demand draft. We go to the first landlord. We tell him that we're gonna go. He gives us shit. Doesn't matter. He's
This
like,
place is
okay,
shit.
yeah, his place was shit. He just like he was just like very angry and was like,
Oh
it's
God.
okay, just like get it out. We don't care about it.
Yeah.
He's just like, okay, now you guys have to leave immediately. We are like, cool. And we go there, and has left the place. Now,
No.
yeah, the
Hey.
second day in US, the new house is not there. The old house got thrown out of with all our luggage.
Oh my
Me
God.
and two of my friends, we are there at the streets. We don't have a credit card. We're trying to book an Uber. We're trying to book a hotel. We don't have
Oh,
anything.
Oh
We
my
don't
fuck.
take
God.
4X card. Nothing. We somehow call a friend. We ask him to book an Uber. We go to the UCLA guest house. And then we go there. It's so tough how we went there. We went there somehow. There also there is no credit card that we don't have. 4X they are not taking. We
Mm-hmm.
again try to find someone who has a credit card. Get there and we somehow get to this place at the night. And I was just like,
My
what am
God.
I doing here? I can't even get a house here.
My
And what are we
God.
Hey.
like? Why did we live such a peaceful life of ours? We were earning decently well. Everything was fine. सब हो रहा था आराम से. Was it real? We had a thought कि चले जाए क्या वापस फ्लाइट लेके अभी मतलब इतना मतलब we've not signed the lease. We've not signed the new lease. We've not
Yeah.
invested. Should we just go back? But
Wow.
it was a crazy
Oof.
experience to say nonetheless.
No, that definitely sounds like a lot to be thrown at the second day. My
Yeah,
God. I
yeah.
Yeah.
cannot even imagine.
Yeah. So we had a little bit of housing crisis that happened right,
Little bit?
yeah, right as we landed.
Oh my God.
Oof, that's a
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah. That's a good
Wow.
story, so
No, definitely a good one to end this
yeah,
episode. For anyone who's thinking about moving to the US or Canada, listen to what Manan just said and then think about it.
yeah. Think about it.
And then with that, we'll leave you all and see you all next week. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Manan, for coming onto the podcast and joining us and sharing your stories with us.
Thank you, guys. It was really lovely. All of this.
Oh, we're glad.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
glad.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. See you all next
See you
Okay.
week.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.